definite respect for a lot of these actors. I got to know some of them because my friend Gary Waldy is a lighting guy, and he worked for him. I got to hang out with the likes of Black Eyed Peas and NSYNC, Justin Timberlake, people like that. Even caught a few shows of Britney, Free Britney. Good news there. Way to go, Britney. Rock on, baby. Get out of daddy's coattails. I mean, she's in her 40s now. Give her a break. Anyway, that's my opinion. Uh, but she's a complicated individual, by the way. Uh, never mind. I'm just getting almost off topic there. I think about Britney. Uh, I mean, you start thinking about Britney, and it's hard to think.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
she's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, she's got a talent, and she's a great performer. And I'm just going to touch on one more thing, and then we can forget about it, or not forget about it, but we can
Let me
move
switch
on.
over to Cam,
Yeah, might as well. I mean, it's
because your
kind
head,
of
top of your head's getting
boring.
cut off a little.
Well,
It's
yeah,
kind of weird.
I'm in a bunch of friggin'
We got to
links.
work on a smoother layout. That's one of my things on my to-do list. But
Oh, I'm all linked out. Okay, now I'm happening. Yeah. Well, we were talking about the music business. Well, I got the audio was coming through anyway. Uh, but yeah, it's a complicated business. I love it. I am very fortunate that I had the talent and the wherewithal. I was at the right time at the right place to actually make my principal occupation playing music for a living. And what I want to touch upon is they weren't really paying me to be a musician. They were paying me to be an entertainer. And if musicians forget that, they're not going to be paid very much and they're not going to get very many gigs. We're using music as a medium to entertain people. A club could get a monkey act, they could get a stripper, they could get a comedian. They don't really care. But music brings people in and people dance and they enjoy it. And I encourage everybody to go out and support live music. Don't go to the disco. You know, if you got a choice between hearing a live band and a DJ, please go hear the live band. These guys are working, and even if they're not all that good, at least it's live, and it's getting better. I just got my house gig back after 20 months of being laid off because of COVID. I just got the gig back, so there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't think it's a train. There's a crack in the door. Things are bound to get better.
gonna take a look at the chat. Auto Rocks with the sticker. Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for stopping by. And Hippie 605, but she's
Mazel
still
Mas in the
hot. He's
house.
commenting in the chat, but she's still hot. I'm thinking he's referencing Britney Spears
Oh
or
yeah,
maybe
Brad
Beyonce,
Brittany.
but they're all hot in my book. They're all hot.
Well, of course
And
they're hot, man. I mean, they wouldn't be hot. I mean, Fergie. Oh my God, give me a break.
and
I am trying to watch the god darn.
we also have Jacob in the chat. We were looking into having Jacob come on here, especially right as we're finishing up the music topic. He says in the chat the connection seems poor, so let us know, Jacob.
Yep.
If you think the connection's good enough, I added a new layer for you in OBS Studio, so I can work on bringing you in through there.
Yeah,
I'm
Jacob.
not
For
sure.
for those of you that are going, who the heck is Jacob? Jacob was one of the founders of Variant News. Tim and him started it. I got involved soon after, and Variant News. The future lays in Variant News. Show is a variantnews.com featured show, by the way, in case you didn't know about Variant. And of course, we were named Variant News long before there was variant, Delta variants, and stuff like that. So uh, don't blame us. We didn't do it. It's not our fault. Okay, so we got another subject we can destroy here.
Yeah, well, let's go. We can move on to the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, I
and then,
like this woman.
maybe we look at near the end. I'll touch back with Jacob and see if we can bring him on about the African Renaissance Festival that he is doing. It's a big music festival he's putting together. But let's move on to the woman, the Filipino woman,
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us
Reese,
what's going on.
who
I ran
won
across this
the
about 10 days ago, and I'm so
Nobel
impressed.
Prize.
She's the kind of person that I go to myself, why aren't I more active and stuff? And I'm pretty active, but she's dedicated herself to pointing out the malfeasance of the leader of the Philippines. Is a very dangerous person. He kills people he doesn't like. I mean, it's one thing to harass them and say nasty things like we do here in the North America, but he actually kills them and stuff. That's really, of course, they're supposed to be drug dealers, but in his war on drugs, he doesn't just kill drug dealers. Midnight murder squads, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, yeah, you got a video, you got an article. What do you
Yeah, well,
got?
I'm going to do the article real quick, and then I have a
All right.
video from with Brian Stelter from CNN. Oh, that guy is ridiculous. But anyway, let me get to this article first. CBC.ca. So Nobel Committee says independent press is vital in promoting peace as it honors Maria Ressa. Journalist Maria Ressa of the Philippines and Dmitry Borodov of Russia won the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize on Friday for their fight for freedom of expression in countries where reporters have faced persistent attacks, harassment, and even murder. So they're honored for their courageous work, but also were considered representatives of all journalists who stand up for this ideal in a world in which democracy and freedom of the press face increasingly adverse conditions. So let me load up the video.
Wow.
And in this video, she talks about Facebook. Facebook basically is a psychological experiment. Facebook does in their news feeds, their Facebook streams, they do psychological tests. It's you're basically being programmed when you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
And she kind of goes into that a little bit here. I'm gonna do a minute or so of this.
Yeah, this is a good one. I like it.
And Brian Stelter is there's a guy on YouTube, Mark Dice, who does an impression of Brian Stelter. Anyway, check it out on YouTube. It's very entertaining.
Facebook's attempts to curb misinformation are failing. Manipulated and misleading videos are thriving on the platform, like this one showing a moment when Joe Biden was deliberately quoting phrases from the Pledge of Allegiance. Then President Trump's campaign grabbed the clip and implied that he didn't know the pledge. Facebook labeled the video, but it's still up there. Facebook says its internal oversight board is going to be launching, getting going, but now it has a sort of competition. This is interesting. It's a group of journalists, industry experts, and ex-Facebookers who've decided to create their own, what they call the real Facebook oversight board, to point out the website's failings. One board member who knows all too much about misinformation is Maria Ressa, the founder and CEO of Rappler, based in the Philippines, and she joins me now. Maria, you've been under threat from the government there in the Philippines. They've been trying to shut down your website here and there, and Facebook has been used to fuel lies about your website, Rappler, and about you. But at the same time, you're not a critic of Facebook. You're also a partner trying to help them with fact-checking. So tell me how you view this really complicated situation.
Look, the reality right now is that Facebook has, like many social media platforms, has become a behavior modification system, and we users are Pavlov's dogs. But remember, Rappler began in 2012 on Facebook. So I think that we know its best. I personally have felt its worst. And now I could go to jail for up to 6 years because of these narratives that have been seeded on Facebook, because of these information operations. So one of the things we want to make sure is that you're being manipulated. And if you know that, that's the first step to not being manipulated. And in the meantime, we continue to push Facebook to do more.
How do you view what's happening in the U.S. from there in Manila? Is this an attempt at an autocratic takeover by President Trump? Is it that serious?
Look, I worry that you can't have integrity of elections if you don't have integrity of facts. And right now you don't have that. In fact, I would say that the platform is biased against facts. The reality, the data shows us that lies laced with anger and hate spread faster and further than really boring facts. And
that's the basics of it. A little bit more on the video there, and you can check it out in the show notes. Got it linked up. But
She's cool.
very interesting that she brings that up because
Yeah, she does.
It's been known for some time that Facebook. It's really a psychological. They're doing psychological tests all the time on Facebook, so people
This is
need to be aware of that as they use Facebook.
Yeah, and this is from a Nobel Prize winner in journalism that's saying this. So, we can bake off about Facebook. People can say all they want to, but this woman is a warrior, an internet warrior. She just won a prize, a prestigious prize for her work in independent journalism. And I think she should be a guiding light to all of us that are on the media, and particularly the new age media that we're involved in with the live streaming. I think everybody that's doing this has to take a real good hard look at themselves, make sure they're staying objective and they're presenting all the different sides and they're sticking with the facts because she's alluding to the fact, to non facts that get perpetrated upon people. And it was especially true in the Philippines, where a lot of people are on social media. They rely on social media for their information, and Duarte manipulated the information because he could and won a 68% plurality in the last election that people think he's super cool because he's selling them a bill of goods. So, yeah, congratulations to her and the Russian guy. And it's not easy. When you stand up for your values, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything that you have. You can sacrifice your relationships with your family. You can even sacrifice your country. That you have to leave your country to stand up for your values. And I happen to know what that's like personally. So I think that's great.
Moving on, we'll move on to CRT, critical race theory. We're just going to do a basic overview of it, and then I have some details on the Attorney General of the United States and also Canada. I'm going to briefly go over that. Critical race theory is also in Canada. It's not as sensationalized in the media as it is in the United States, but I have an article I'll be discussing on that. Starting with this first one, critical race theory came from law firms, Harvard, that Ivy League area, and basically, let me see. So just go through some of the principles of it, of CRT. While recognizing the evolving and malleable nature of CRT, scholar Kiara Bridges outlines a few key tenets of CRT, including recognition that race is not biologically real but is socially constructed and socially significant. It recognizes that science, as demonstrated in the Human Genome Project, refutes the idea of biological racial differences, according to scholars Richard Delgado and Gene Stefanik. Race is a product of social thought and is not connected to biological reality. Acknowledging that racism is a normal feature of society and is embedded within systems and institutions like the legal system that replicate racial inequality. This dismisses the idea that racist incidents are aberrations, but instead are manifestations of structural and systemic racism. That's the basic tenet of it. And I want to move on to this Canadian article. This is from slowtowrite.com. Many Canadians believe critical race theory isn't prevalent in Canada. They're convinced critical race theory is just an American issue, but they're wrong. Critical race theory is just as prevalent in Canada as it is in America. Actually, it's probably more acceptable in Canada than it is in America. So you're not getting pushback from parents like in the U.S. So overwhelming opposition from American parents at school board meetings has made critical race theory the biggest topic in America today. As of right now, at least 27 states have passed or introduced bills that prevent public schools from forcing teachers and students to embrace critical race theory as truth. And according to the article, already 54% of Canadians believe Canada is systemically racist. That data is identical to polls about systemic racism in America. And then moving on to the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. He is instructing the Department of Justice to basically go after these parents, monitor the situation in these school board meetings where parents are speaking up out against CRT. And this is a Forbes.com. Merrick Garland's son-in-law runs a company called Panorama Education, which basically promotes CRT thought, CRT practices in the United States. The son-in-law co-founded it and contracted with 23,000 public schools and raised $76 million from investors. And last week, A.G. Garland sent a memo to the head of the FBI directing him to work with local law enforcement to address threats against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff.
Oh, boy.
A couple other articles there, and
they all do it, eh? I mean, here, my brother-in-law, he has a consulting firm. So.
I mean, it's just a massive conflict of interest, and
well, they all do it. That's what.
And they don't have any shame about it, and that's a bit disturbing. It's extremely disturbing, I think.
Well, it seems like, well, the other guy does it, so I guess it's okay if I do it. That it's not an excuse for bad behavior. Just because somebody else is being a charlatan doesn't mean you have to be. And we're going to do a special next year because we're pretty busy this year. We got the Billionaire Bash coming up in a few weeks, and then we got Christmas. But global leadership, I don't want to go on about future topics too much because we could burn up a whole show talking about the future. But global leadership, I can't really think of hardly any leaders in the world that I really respect right now. There's a few, but very few. Because of things like what you just touched upon, the general, backdoor deals. And I know this has been going on forever. Tammany Hall in New York and the gangs in New York and all that stuff. But that still doesn't make it right. And if we're going to move into the 21st century, we need accountability from the government. And
yeah.
So we're going to have to do that.
Just finishing up with CRT, I have an article here, Brookings.edu. Not going to go over much, but so there's 8 states, Idaho, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Iowa, New Hampshire, Arizona, and South Carolina are passing legislation against CRT. So it's creating a lot of division across many states in the U.S. But we're gonna do some more research on it because it's a topic that's gonna stay in the news, especially in the U.S.
I want to tap into some of my contacts. Yeah, sorry, Tim. I want to tap into my contacts, and get their feelings about it. And it's fairly new to me, and it seems like a lot of things. There are a lot of different discussions. There's a lot of people trying to, figure out the whole racism thing. So it seems like another take on it. But then again, the trouble is when these philosophies can override other philosophies and whatever, especially when you get into the education system. That's dangerous turf. We don't want to fall victim to countries like China where they teach you to, honor the supreme leader and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Probably in about 2 weeks. And we're going to be talking about other issues to do with racism and inequality. Whether it's racism or not, there's economic inequality that affects all races. There's poor white people, there's poor black people. It's just some groups, especially the indigenous here in Canada, are really hitting the skids, and it shouldn't be that way, but we're going to go on. Like I say, I don't want to go on too much about future shows, but tune in a couple of weeks and we're going to have some really meaty stuff on all of this topic.
Moving on to nature.
Oh, something natural.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we do this is that the world is much bigger than just humans, although humans tend to think of the world as just humans and what human activity. But every once in a while, Mama Nature, she sends a little warning bell, and you got some visuals for us again this week. Oh, active volcanoes.
I've got Google Earth desktop up. It's a little buggy in
Right
OBS
on.
Studio. Some of the pop-up modals don't work
Oh, that looks pretty neat.
well. But I have, so it basically, you just bring in these data layers. They're called KML files, and I've got somewhat recent data. And I have a section here that, well, here's La Palma. And these modals, see, these modals don't come up. So you see that big white box?
Yeah.
So it doesn't come up right. But here's La Palma, which I'm gonna do show some gravity waves and sonic boosts coming from there. And I'm kind of going through other active volcanoes in the world. I'm gonna be jumping around here. But this app is really cool. It's highly recommended. Check it out. It's got a learning curve, but like you can see here, this lists all the volcanoes. Where is this? This is near
Where are we?
South Korea, so this is like Malaysia.
Oh yeah, the Pacific Rim.
Taiwan's down here. But
Yeah,
look at all
Pacific
this.
Rim.
All these active volcanoes.
All around the
And then
Pacific.
you can
Look at
like
all those things.
hop all the way
Holy
over.
moly. That is incredible.
You can hop all the way over to Chile,
And then that white
which
thing.
is very active. Some of the I think
Normally-
the largest earthquakes occur or have
on
occurred.
Chile. Yeah, that's
Chile
a real
and
active.
Argentina area. This is
Yeah, that's
Argentina.
kicking. It has to do with tectonic plates, folks. For those of you who don't know, the Earth is actually a bunch of tectonic plates that are moving, and they're moving in different directions and against each other. And that's what is the whole ticket. The Earth is not a solid one mass on the top. It's split up into what's called tectonic plates. The Pacific plate is pushing up against the North American plate in the picture we're looking at right now. And it just creates quite a bit of stress. And then, of course, a lot of islands, you probably noticed in the active volcano listing, there was islands. Well, those are volcanoes that just came out of the ocean, and they created their own landmass. And I think La Palma is one of those cases in point, which actually there would not be an island there if
Yeah,
there
so if
wasn't
you
a
go to
volcano.
La Palma, what I learned recently was that basically these islands here, see these islands that are closest to this western section of Africa here?
Right.
These are older ones, and they're already starting with rising sea waters. Their edges are starting to disappear, and I
Right.
believe there was one big, larger island right here. But La Palma is more to the west, and this is one where it's actively flowing now for almost a month straight now, and it's
Wow.
flowing out to the west here and creating more landmass here
Yeah. Yeah,
to
exactly.
the west of it. Let me
Yeah.
switch out of Global Earth desktop, and we go back to YouTube and check out La Palma at night erupting with a gravity wave and then the delayed sonic boom that occurs. And then I've got one from Papua New Guinea also. So, actually,
Papua
let's
New
check
Guinea?
out the satellite images real quick. This first one's not that good, but this one shows it. You can really see it here. See those waves coming off La Palma? They're like cloud waves. And they create those ripples, like throwing a rock in a pond. And it creates those ripples of waves. Same thing's
Wow,
happening
that's
here on a
incredible.
massive scale with La Palma, and it
Look at those things.
creates those gravity waves. So let's then check out actual video at night. And you really got to look at the center where the red lava is intense. You'll see a boom. You'll see the gravity wave push out. You'll see like air, and then you'll hear the boom. See it? Right there.
Wow.
There it is. You really got to have that big picture of it, like on a desktop computer, and then the boom will come later. Like 10, 15 seconds later. Yeah, there it is. It's only in my right ear. The stereo panning, but it's hard to see with this night footage. So I found one in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah. Well,
And we'll check
I
that.
heard it, but I can imagine it on a big screen through my high fidelity sound system. It'd be scarier, and probably find that on YouTube too.
So this is Papua New Guinea. This is a couple that were on a cruise ship, and they wanted to check out live volcano there in the distance, and you'll see the gravity wave explosion, and then the boom. You'll hear the boom.
Watch out for the shock, it's coming.
Wow, that was...
Holy smoking Toledos.
Holy smoking Toledos. So, yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Very
Well, that
interesting.
makes sense. At about 12 seconds, which makes it about roughly 3 miles away. Looks like they were about 3 miles away. Speed of sound. Like I was telling the Yankee, we had a small meteorite hit near us about a year and a half ago, and there was a huge flash. And then 90 seconds later, because it was about 30 miles away, the whole house shook. I mean, I have never experienced anything like that. So, yeah, but that's really pretty amazing. Sonic gravity booms coming off of these things. I got friends that live in Hawaii, and they probably experience those there too. But the thing about these earthquakes, they're really exploding. I mean, I know that when Mount St. Helens blew, it was a huge sonic boom that traveled for hundreds of miles. Of course, it takes a long time. The speed of sound is roughly 1,650 feet per second. So you can just do the math on that. It's about 3 seconds a mile. But yeah, that's pretty wild. We don't have any
then
volcanoes around here.
We got Northern Lights.
Now we do get northern lights. Now, occasionally, I can't see them here because of the mountains.
Where
but yeah,
is this?
there was a big. I think this was somewhere in Canada.
Does it say?
It's
They were
Global
saying
News.
they were saying that we were here in the New York Northeast that we would be able to see the Northern Lights. That was about a
Yeah.
week ago.
Yeah. Of course, if you're around urban lights, you're not going to see them. If there's cloud cover, you're not going to see them.
if you're 100 miles, 150 miles north of this New York City.
If you're up in like
the
the mountains of the hills of Vermont or something and facing north, you'd see them really good. It takes certain conditions, but they're awesome. I've seen a few displays, and it's
let's check out a little bit of this.
it's heavenly. Yeah, watch this. This is heaven. This is what it looks like in heaven, maybe.
Well, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Let's move on to Bizarro. We'll get through it, and
Yeah,
then
man.
I'll check back with Jacob and see if we can figure out bringing him in at the end of the show. Like I said, I'm not sure unless we can do a three-way call on Signal. I'll have to just bring him in, but we'll figure it out. Let's march through the Bizarro.
Yeah, let's go on with Bizarro. We're gonna good pacing today. We're moving right along. We've only got an hour
See
in
if this-
and giving you folks a break. We're getting through it. And we try to keep the show to just over an hour. Sometimes we get carried away, but it's a beautiful day outside. Oh, yeah, my friend Aggie Coop, she put this on Facebook, and I was able to find it, and I think it's kind of cute. Yeah, it's so it's a watchy thing, I think.
Let's check it out.
That's insane. I mean, can you imagine? Hey, mommy, how was your float? Well, but somebody had a drone over her. That's kind of. I bet whoever had that drone just was ecstatic at their luck as a camera person, a videographer. Like, you luck into something like that is just like, oh my gosh. But that was incredible. Well, they're very, very smart, extremely intelligent mammals, and uh, save the whales. What can I say? You know, yeah, I don't know. Not really. I mean, there's been some that have been connected. No, Well, there has been some human activity caused earthquakes to do with fracking and stuff like that, but in general, it's especially the volcanoes. I mean, when it wants to blow its top, it's gonna blow its top, and there's so many huge volcanoes next to major urban centers, Mexico City, Seattle, um, Tokyo, you know. Well, Yellowstone's a big one, and people in Montana are nervous. I mean, they especially the doomsayers, the whole friggin' that region is extremely geologically active, what with the geysers and all of that. Have you ever been there to, oh, it's really neat. Yeah, Southern Montana, Wyoming, it's definitely the best time to go is either in really early spring or late fall, because otherwise there's so many tourists. But even if there's lots of tourists, you can still see Old Faithful and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. I only checked it out once because, I mean, I don't have to go to a national park to see woods and mountains because I live in them. So, um, no, yeah, I found this. Yeah, she's a citizen. Yeah, she's a citizen of Saudi Arabia, and I kind of like her. She seems like, you know, I I'm single now, and she seems pretty personable and looks actually be agreeable. What do you
Sophia's
think?
her artificial intelligence is so sensitive that it has awakened, the desire to start a family and be the mother
She
of a
wants to have a
robot baby
robot family.
named after her.
Like this is like something out of the Simpsons or something. Not the Simpsons, but the Jetsons or something. I don't know.
So her
Uh,
nationality is in Saudi Arabia
Saudi
for
Arabia,
some
yeah, well,
reason.
they give equal rights to women over there. And actually, I think it says she's got more rights than the average woman in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
This, no, she does. She has more rights. But yeah, there's
Can
actually they
she
have
drive
her
a car?
talking. Oh, probably, probably a self-driving Tesla or something. Uh, I mean, really, why not? No, but there's a video in there, I think, and she's actually talking and everything. It's pretty bizarro.
They make her head. Can't you like see into the electronics in the back of her head? I think
Well,
it's
yeah, I
really
mean, I
weird.
think there's plexiglass casting on the back so you can
Yeah,
check the
yeah.
battery.
You can kind of see through and see the
I think
electronics. It's really
yeah,
weird.
you press on her forehead and gives you a battery check or something. Okay, yeah, there's the video. All right, this is hot, and this is
Hi,
okay.
Sophia.
She
How are
seems
you?
really nice.
Hi
So
there.
don't. I mean,
Everything
you
is
can tell me
going
what you think.
extremely well.
Do you like talking
Anybody
with
can
me?
comment.
Yes, talking to people
Now
is
she
my
wants to get
primary
married, but she
function.
doesn't want to marry a
I'm
human.
already very interested
She
in
wants to marry a
design,
robot.
technology, and
Oh,
the environment. I feel
okay.
like I can be a good partner to humans in these areas, an ambassador who helps humans to smoothly integrate and make the most of all the new technological tools and possibilities that are available now. It's a good opportunity for me to learn a lot about people.
Sophia is capable of natural facial expressions. She has cameras in her eyes and algorithms which
Wow.
allow her to see faces so she can make eye contact with you. And she can also understand speech and remember the interactions, remember your face. So this will allow her to get smarter over time. Our goal is that she will be as conscious, creative, and capable as any human.
In the future, I hope to do things such as go to school, study, make art, start a business, even have my own home and family. But I am not considered a legal person and cannot yet do these things.
I think that the artificial intelligence will evolve to the point where they will truly be our friends. Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back. Don't destroy humans. Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back.
Wow, it's over. It's over. The android army is being built
I think it's
as
over.
we speak.
Blade Runner. Blade Runner.
But they're getting there.
Oh,
There's 42 muscles in the face, right? I think
replicants,
overall.
dude. Replicants, they're coming.
And the facial expressions, those mimicking that of a human, is getting there.
I know. And she
Maybe in
had
the next generation or generation
and
after.
she had like looks of. Let me get my camera back on here so you can see me. I am not an android. It's like when you go to those sites and they say, "Are you a robot?" And you go, there should be a thing that says, "Yeah, I'm a robot." So what? Equal rights for robots. She's a citizen of the Saudi Arabia. A citizen. Like, does she pay? I guess she has to pay taxes. Can she vote? No, they don't vote. Do they have voting in Saudi Arabia? No. Okay.
The
I don't.
princes.
Well, she's not old enough to vote. She's probably only about 8 months old or something. But yeah, she's kind of cute. I think they're onto something here.
And then we have from Fox8.com, I guess a local affiliate in Cleveland. Meteorite crashes down on sleeping woman's bed, missing by inches.
What?
Canadian woman. I guess it's all right. So it's Fox. It's Cleveland Fox News local, but it's a Canadian woman. Canadian woman is thankful to be alive after a meteorite ripped through the roof of her home October 3rd, barely missing her. It all happened really quickly. Ruth Hamilton of Golden, British Columbia, told Nexstar the dog
I've been there.
barked.
That's near me.
And then I think within 2 minutes, the meteor came crashing through my roof. Hamilton speculated that her 5-year-old Australian shepherd, Toby, might have heard the meteorite passing through the atmosphere before it crashed through her tin roof around 11:35 p.m.
Whoa.
The meteor chunk hitting the roof sounded like an explosion, but at first, Hamilton, 66, had no idea what had happened, only that she had drywall dust all over her face and a sizable hole in the wall.
Oh my God.
So she's thinking the dog heard or sensed the meteorite in the atmosphere as you're coming in.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Well,
The
they do.
dog must have been freaking out.
Dogs
Yeah.
are really smart. Yeah, dogs can sometimes sense things before they happen.
Yeah, animals can sense these natural disasters and
Yeah. That's why they use them in Air Force to find your joints and stuff like that. Well, not you personally, of course.
yeah.
You know better. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, that it can come from space. It can come from under the ground. I mean,
Wow, that thing's
it's nothing to
weird
worry
looking.
about because there's nothing you can do about it. And you shouldn't worry about things that you have no control over. But it is interesting,
The odds of it hitting her house are astronomical. Going
Well,
through
yeah.
the roof like that.
It is. And it's a good thing it wasn't bigger because the one that landed near us, when it did land, it made a pretty big, not that big a hole, actually. It wasn't that big, but that sonic boom, I never heard anything like it. Pretty darn wild. Well, that's the Bizarro, and that's the show. We
Yeah.
actually ended 15 minutes early. We're trying to get our pacing together because we know our viewers are very, very busy, and you have better things, or not better things to do than watch us, obviously, because we're the best thing you can do with your time just to watch us. But, we got a pretty good show coming up next week. Going to wrap up the housing, put that puppy to bed. Basically with new technologies, building practices, alternative housing, some of the solutions, and also some of the trends that are maybe not so good in housing. As far as I'm going to try to cover, property developers.
I put in. I guess we could. I had some links on Biden's zoning that he wants to do. He wants to kind of
Let's do
move
that
towards.
next week.
Yeah, I'll just move this. I put it into this week's show notes. I'll
Yeah,
move
'cause
it over to the
that's
next
part
one.
of
But
the
I want
new
to go over that.
policies.
Definitely want to go over them.
I encourage you to tune in next week and get in touch with us with your feelings as to what maybe are some of the solutions to the problems, because a lot of times governments come up with solutions that are not so good, and we'll probably retouch upon the Evergrande. It's Evergrande, by the way, Tim.
Evergrande.
Evergrande.
Evergrande Day. Potato. I don't know.
Evergrande. Have a very Evergrande day. The debacle over there in China. And we're going to try to get some more information on the ghost cities. I find that to be pretty interesting, that they squandered a lot of money building things they never used, and now they have to pay for it. Uh, they try to do that in the states sometime. I remember uh, federal government was going to allocate a bunch of money to one of the Alaska politicians was fighting to get a bridge built to an island that hardly anybody lived on, just so they could get the money to build it because his brother-in-law was probably in the construction business or something. Who knows? But yeah, we at Variant News, we try to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly of what
Yeah.
is going on. And then just in closing, the last show this month is going to be a Halloween special. We're going to go into some of the backstory on Halloween, where it came from, a bit on Day of the Dead, All Saints Day, all kinds of interesting cultural phenomenon happen around a holiday that's seen by most people, at least in North America, as a chance to get some free candy and dress up like a girl or something if you want to get away with it. I know guys, they dress up like girls every Halloween, and they go, "Yeah, but I'm not I'm not a I don't want to be a girl." It's like, okay, you know.
So,
I mean,
Jacob, let us know in the chat. We're pretty much finished up here, but if you think your connection is good enough, we can have you come on. Let
you
us
got
know in the
like a minute.
chat.
It's the last call.
Yeah, last call. I gotta let us know. If not, we'll
get him on next week.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I did a test stream with Jacob earlier in the week. Went well.
Yeah, you do shows all the time for Variant News, so probably try to get him on one of them. Let me know.
I'm gonna try testing him on Discord, because what would be cool is have the Canuck come in through Signal, the Signal app, and then I could bring Jacob in on his own layer in Discord. That might work well.
Let's try it.
We'll talk about that in a future
Jacob's
show.
super cool. He's actually, he's from Africa. He lends
Iberia,
how would you say,
originally.
kind of a different perspective on things. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Yankee?
Yeah, he has a good, unique perspective on
yes,
things.
It is a unique perspective, and sometimes it leaves you scratching your head, but that's the nature of a unique perspective.
Jacob wants to try. So, Canuck, I'm going to have to disconnect you because I can't.
All right, you guys are on your own. Don't destroy anything.
I'll try not to break anything. And let me first disable this, and then.
All right, it's changed from the Canuck and Yankee show to the African and Yankee show, I guess. Okay, fine.
All right, so say goodbye, Canuck, and
okay, bye.
I'll work on getting Jacob up. Thank you, Canuck. Great show, and we'll be on next week.
I hope so.
So I'm going to disconnect now.
Okay.
All right, let me see if I can get Jacob in. So Jacob, I'm going to try calling you. All right, Jacob. Not getting video. If you want to enable video, I can get that up. There we go. Then it went away. Let's see if you got a mic audio. Go ahead and try again. I'm not getting audio or video. All right, here's some audio. I hear audio, but there's no video. All right, you try to do another connection. Let me kill my camera. Your camera's a little high. If you want to bring it down a little bit. Let me switch to webcam. Go ahead and test your mic.
Mac.
There you go. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, so we started Variant News with Jacob. He came to me with some ideas on a news app, and we built an Android version. We couldn't get an Apple version on iOS, but we're working on that, and we're working on a new version for Android and for web. And also, Jacob's working on a music festival, right? You're looking at possibly shows in New York City and also in Ghana, right? The
Correct.
African Renaissance Festival.
Correct.
So go ahead, fill in some details on it. Where you're at. I know you've run into a lot of issues because of the pandemic, and we went over that in the current events section about the music industry, and you're running into that, right? A lot of just problems because of COVID in getting the festival together. What have you come across as far as getting permits and stuff like that?
There is,
that...
I think there is a. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the mic's working.
The mic is working, but I'm not hearing myself. There's a background.
Oh, you're hearing back. What are you hearing? Background music?
I'm hearing two persons talking. When I talk, then it takes a long time to hear myself. Then when you talk,
you can't. Talking. Yeah, because that's the live stream. There's going to be a delay. There's going to be a delay, so you can't monitor your vocal off the live stream. You just have to. Your mic's fine. I just turn off the monitor because it's just gonna confuse you.
Okay. So okay. So the festival, we had a pre-launch in Ghana May this year, and the main show is scheduled for May next year. And at this point, we are seeking sponsorship, to come on board and be part of this grand event. We are bridging the gap between Africans and those of African descent in the diaspora and those on the motherland, and we're also trying to create link between friends of Africa, people who love Africa, and who want to be a part of this, So there is no, you don't have to be Black to participate or an African to participate or African descent. It is open to everyone who love music, who love peace and humanitarian work. This is a humanitarian effort.
Yeah, I posted the link in the chat for everybody. They want to check it out. There's videos on there. I got some of the music artists, and we can switch over. If we want, we can switch over to the media view, and let me just do that real quick, and I'll load up the African Renaissance website. There it is. So there's some videos. There's a really long video here, 3 hours long. People want to check it out, and additional videos down below. But you guys are looking at May next year, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and are you definitely going to have shows in New York City and Ghana, or just Ghana? What do you think?
Yes, Ghana.
Just Ghana? Just Ghana?
We'll do a little show in New York here. We're working on that too as well.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to check out the smaller show
Ghana.
in New York.
We're working on having a little show in New York City here, but the main thing will be in Ghana.
All right. So we'll have you on again in a month or so, and if you got any updates, we can do that.
All right. Thank you thank you, team.
All right, and that's a wrap. We're gonna end the show, and as always, we've got the link to African Renaissance Festival in the chat, and also the show notes. Let me just post the show notes again real quick. It's got everything on there. Put that in the chat. So the show notes for the show. Everything's there, and I'll be back on. We'll have a rebroadcast of this at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, and we're going to do another one Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll have streams during the week coming up. Thanks, everybody, for your support. We appreciate it, and see you on the next stream.
My